Yo people, welcome back to another episode of Progress Interviews. Today I'm joined with the bearer of all the swords, aka
Yes, sir.
Swordbearer. And yeah, we're in Edinburgh. We're in the home of Scotland. Beautiful place, beautiful place. And yeah, we're just going to talk about a bit about your music, kind of the area, and kind of whatever else comes up. We'll see how it goes.
Sounds good.
First of all, how are you, man? How's your week been? Last week.
It's been a good week.
Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday now. It's been a pretty good week. I'm just trying to stay productive. Been making a lot of stuff. Like potentially in album mode. Who knows? So just working.
Yeah.
But like keeping it quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just said it in an interview, so that doesn't really help. But
Probably the last place you
yeah,
want to say.
not keeping it quiet anymore, but I was. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So obviously you've been dropping a couple singles, couple double singles, couple EPs here and there.
Yeah.
You've been working with quite a few different artists, right? So
Yeah.
you've worked with, people from Bristol, London, Birmingham, America, like a bunch of other people. So I guess, how do you go about picking out who you want to produce for? What does that process look like for you?
It's I never really thought about it. I just I feel like I'm a fan first of all, so I just like find things that I connect with and things that I feel like would match with what I'm going for. It depends what I'm making as well. If it's like a certain feel and I'll have someone in mind while I'm making it of like who would fit on it kind of thing.
Right. So
it kind of depends what I'm making and then just like who I know. And most people are just, it's like SoundCloud or something, you just like stumble upon people and it's like sometimes you just feel a connection with it and you're like, oh my god, I need to work with this person. So it's like, it's just like that, and then it's never really been about like trying to sell stuff. It's just like I just enjoy making things.
Right.
So like meeting people who are like-minded that I can connect with and just like giving them stuff and just being like do something with that kind of thing. And then maybe getting a verse back or whatever for some of my stuff is just like pretty fun, I think, like back and forth. It's mainly with people like Kip because we just had like such an instant connection of like we knew exactly what we were going for with each other's music and how it was gonna click together. So we just like throw shit back and forth all the time of like, here's a beat, here's this, here's that. So
is it mostly? You're based in Glasgow, which I don't know too many people from there, but I assume that most of your interactions are via internet. Rather than sort of in person or...
There's not really like a scene, I guess, in Scotland as it were. Like there's a lot of people that rap, but it's not really rap that I like listen to or it's not kind of my thing. It's cool, but it's not my thing. So there's only like 2 people in Scotland that I really kind of like have a connection with, and everyone else has just been online. I think cause the internet, it's like you can really just like find a little niche sound.
For sure, especially on SoundCloud. Especially on SoundCloud.
Exactly. So it's like, you meeting people in like Australia and New York and South Africa, just like all these random people that are making the same music. And it's just really cool. So
can you perhaps talk a little bit about your actual music production? Because it's quite a unique sound that you go for, and it's not like something like I've tried to explain it to other people, and it's so hard because you jump around from different like subgenres and substyles and everything, and it I don't know, it's like heavy samples, you're chopping everything up, but it still makes sense and it's very melodic. What is like your process of you open up whatever software you use, like what happens?
It's part of it's kind of just like not winging it. I'm not gonna like I don't want to like downplay it, but like I don't know, it just kind of sometimes whatever mood I'm in will be reflected but then also I don't really open up like Ableton with like this is the beat I'm gonna make, because then I've already like pigeonholed it into this little thing of like it has to be this.
Okay.
So I try to just be like really open, and if like I'll usually have something in mind, but if I hear a cool sample, and I'll maybe go a different direction. But most of the time it's to do with the projects that I'm working on.
Oh, okay.
So like I guess I'll have like different like concepts, I guess, for each thing, and then try and like focus on that sound. So when I was doing like Peace Be With You, it was meant to be like really like smooth and like almost like kind of ambient in a way with the way that the samples were used. So that was like the feeling I was going for in that, whereas when I was working with Kip, it was more like, I don't know, there was a lot more like warps and a lot more drums thrown in there, and like maybe more like not abrasive, but kind of on the more
like around the edges.
Yeah. So it just like depends what kind of feeling I'm in for like a different project. Or when I worked with Jay Cinema, it was more like I just felt like with Jay's style I had to just like chop some shit up like heavily, just like go in with like soul chops. So yeah, I think it depends like what the actual project is, and then I just like build it from there how I think it should sound.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so kind of following up on that, I mean, I guess you kind of touched on it already, but what would you say are your like biggest inspirations for your musical career? Is it mostly just like the people that you work with and they inspire you, or do you have kind of wider source of inspiration that go beyond music? Like where do you get your energy from?
Yeah, I think I always think about this because it's sometimes hard to actually pinpoint it. Like I think it comes from a lot of different places. Like even early on in high school, when it was like listening to Odd Future, which is just like planted like a little seed. And I feel
so
like they had this thing where it was like they were just, at the time they were almost just like a group of kids that were like fucking around on the internet and made careers out of it, and it kind of planted that thing of like, oh, we can do that. You know, we can just post something. So I think it started with that, but then like finding a specific sound was probably to do with hearing like Madlib and stuff like that being shown, Mad Villainy, and then from there it was like some rap songs was a big one, and I think it was for a lot of people. Hearing some rap songs, because it was like the same idea with the samples, but it was like pushing it to another level where it was like really kind of almost fucking it up and like rough, and it just had this like quality to it that was so appealing to me. So then I thought I'm gonna start doing that, and started trying to cut stuff up in that kind of style. But then I think last like year or two has mostly just been like people around me that I listen to. Like I don't even listen to that much mainstream stuff anymore, because I feel like I'm just constantly listening to people on SoundCloud.
There's so much.
Yeah, there's so much, because like listening to people like friends now, you know, people like Kip, I hear a new project and I'm like inspired by it. There's people in the States like DJ Noon, it's crazy, and every time I listen to his projects I want to go and do something. Or like Old Man Freeman, just like so many people that are insanely talented. And I think they have like similar ideas or methods or whatever, and it's kind of connects. So probably mainly that, and also Ka. Because Ka. Yeah, the rapper.
Okay.
You ever heard Ka?
No. How do you spell it?
Just K.
Don't think.
Should I? Yeah, you should. You should listen.
Should I have? Okay.
Yeah, you should.
I'd never heard of that. Yeah. Where is
you
he
give
from?
it a listen. Where's Ka from? I think Ka's in the East Coast. Well,
Okay.
But he was doing a lot of the like sample loops and like drumless loops, and taken from like all around the world, and like, you know, prog rock and all that, like those kind of samples.
Right. Okay.
in like the kind of mid 2010s kind of thing. Still doing it now. So that's like a big, like style wise, he would be a big inspiration.
Right, I see. Yeah. So how would you say? So again, you said with Odd Future kind of planting that seed, but in terms of actually learning how to execute your ideas on using computer software, I assume that's what you mostly use. Do you use like any any instruments, any synths, any MIDI keys, or?
Yeah, I do have a MIDI keyboard, and I've got like a MPC and all that, but like I don't even use them that much, to be honest. I kind of prefer just doing things by hand.
Yeah.
In the DAW.
So how would you say you kind of you learned to do that? What was that like for you? Was it mostly self-taught? Did you have people around you?
Yeah, I kind of didn't learn. Like I just did it. I just kind of like fucked around with it basically for like 2 years, and eventually figured it out. Like when I really first started, I didn't even have that. I used Audacity. I downloaded samples and dropped them into Audacity and used the little like slice tool and like actually just cut them up that way. And then I got Ableton, which made it a lot easier. Yeah. But it was mostly just like self-taught, and then maybe like watching a YouTube video. But no one really showed me, because there's only like one person around me, like personally, that does that kind of stuff. So it was mostly just like a few years of messing around.
Yeah, just like.
And I'm still learning. That's the thing, which is fun, because it just like you just keep developing it. But yeah, it was all like I guess self-taught.
Yeah. Where do you want to see it go? Where do you want to see your production skills go? Is it I don't know, is it more of just a local thing, like a community focused thing, or do you have kind of visions or plans to become known as a big producer in a way? Or
it started out just like as a hobby. It still is, because I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's also, in the past like year, it's kind of reaching a stage where people, like you get random people reaching out and being like, oh, I love this album, I love this, or could you do this, sick. Could you make this a video, or could you release this physically? And now it's like, sick. Oh shit, now people actually care.
Yeah, people want to spend money on it.
That was kind of, I mean, every time I see that, it's still really weird to see, but that it's kind of made it more of like, I could actually do it, like, I don't want to say as a job, but because that's a long way to go, but it's reaching that stage where it's like people actually care, and people want more stuff, and people would pay for stuff, so it's like, well, I'm just going to keep going with it, basically see where it goes. I don't have any like goals of like, I want to work with Kendrick Lamar.
So it's not like in a year's time I want to work with this person.
So it's kind of whatever pops up. And sometimes it's like really cool artists will approach me, or I'll approach them, and it's just like it just happens. So I'm trying to keep it as like organic as possible. I don't want to like force anything, and I've never been like, oh, I'll work with this person because this is going to give me more clout. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just like if I fuck with you, basically, if I enjoy your music. Because like when I started working with Mosiah, it was like, I found him on SoundCloud. He had like 30 followers, and I heard his songs. I was like, "This is fucking insane! Like, this is absolutely my shit. This is the shit that I love." And I was like blown away. And
I heard him on one of your beats. I was like, "Yeah, this is."
It's crazy. Like he's so good. And so I just like, I think I hit him up, or he hit me up on Instagram or something, and I was like, saying I was like, this is crazy, and I was trying to get a feature from him, and he was like, oh, I've only been rapping for like a month or something like that, and I was like, what the fuck, man, this guy is insane. Like, he's so good. So people like that, it's just like, I don't give a fuck if he has like 30 followers or like 30,000. Like, he was just fire regardless. So I wanted to work with him. So
I guess that's a really good kind of mentality to have, isn't it? Because then, you know that they're going to be good. Yeah. Right. If you're going to be basing things on numbers, then it's a major risk to you in the way that they might not perform, or there's just some random people. And that's a good way of going about it. kind of touching a bit more on sort of the platforms that you use. So, you know, SoundCloud, you're on Bandcamp as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you so SoundCloud obviously has its huge pros in the sense that it just manages to build a community of various people on a similar sound, and that's amazing. But I don't know, where do you see SoundCloud as in terms of its usability, in terms of its drawbacks? Like, what's your thoughts on
it's
the
like,
platform?
it's kind of like, I think for me and for people at my level, it's really cool because, like you say, it's like it connects a lot of people, and it can get you a lot of exposure. You can post stuff, and it's like it'll just hit thousands. I think that's really cool, and the fact that anyone can just upload files as well. It's really very accessible, which is good. But then, I don't know, like for like wider audiences, it's not really, people don't really use it that much. I think if you're in the kind of like independent or underground kind of thing, then you'll use it and you listen to other people. But it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a stepping stone up to the streaming, because everyone's using the streaming services, and I guess if you want to be heard like really more extensively, you have to make that jump up. So it's kind of like good to a point, and then there kind of comes a point, and that's what I realized this year. I was like, I need to get more stuff on like Spotify and all that, because that's where most people are, that's what most people use. So you kind of need to make the jump, but I still think SoundCloud is really cool. I think it's a really cool platform, and it's still like my main source of, you know, that's mainly where I'm going to put things.
And so yeah, I agree in the sense that, you know, I think Spotify has a way of working where anyone can find your stuff, whereas with SoundCloud it's more other people share your stuff and their people see it, right? Rather than you might get like a Spotify recommendation of you, or, you know, fans only that fans listen to, etc. So I think it's easier for just a wide variety of people to find you. But on SoundCloud it's a lot easier to build a strong community with fewer people. So I
would say so. That's how I met a lot of people. Is through SoundCloud, because it is like a little community. Even though it's all over the world, and that's how I've like. It's kind of weird that it's like a little scene, but it's just like digital. And it's like UK, US, Asia. It's like everything, but it's in this little space. It's cool. But yeah, I think it's not as widely used, I guess. So you kind of need to step up to the streaming stuff. But then that's like you kind of need to invest in that though, which is what makes it like awkward to use, I guess. You need to get like stuff like DistroKid and all that, where you can upload and get stuff put onto streaming, whereas SoundCloud you just go like direct uploads.
There's laws I guess governing what you can and can't put
and then I guess with that, like going back to the like how big would you want it to get? I wouldn't want it to get like huge, because like sample clearances would become an issue.
True. I was going to say that actually.
That's not something that I
half of your library is gone.
I've seen it happen to artists. Like songs will just get removed and it's painful, and I don't want to have that. So I'll like at a stage where it's nice.
Find a middle ground.
Just stay
where you
there.
can earn a bit of money and
I don't want to have to pay like thousands to clear samples. So
for sure. I guess just the kind of final point on the topic of streaming is the role that Bandcamp sort of plays in providing a financial solution to artists who kind of have a solid fan base and community around them. So, you know, do you have any maybe perspectives or thoughts, being an artist who is streaming and on Bandcamp as well, kind of perhaps the importance of a platform like Bandcamp, where, you know, you give money and the money 85% of it goes to the artist directly, as opposed to the sort of the streaming model?
Yeah, I mean, unless you're like a huge artist with millions or billions of streams, like the streaming services aren't really gonna do anything for you. That's just kind of how it is, and it seems to be getting worse, which is great. So like Spotify is just, I mean, it's pretty terrible. Like, it's a good service, but it's like it's I don't know if people just, the users just assume that music is just like, you know, randomly generated and just appears there, because like the amount of music that's on there,
it's ridiculous,
versus how much the artists that make that music actually get is just ridiculous. But that's where Bandcamp is cool, I guess, for like, you know, if you're like underground, I suppose, because it's like I can get thousands of streams on, you know, Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever, and make like $2. Whereas one person buys my EP and I've made like, you know, 5 or whatever. So it's definitely better for support, definitely. And the Bandcamp Friday thing is cool as well, but then also it's also had a kind of opposite effect in a weird way, because now everyone drops on Bandcamp Friday and everyone is like, buy my album,
promoting it,
but then they're not buying other people's, so then you've got everyone sharing the link, like buy mine, and no one's buying each other's because they want people to buy theirs, and so I don't know, but
it kind of builds more of a competitive environment rather than
and
support.
When it first started happening, you had people like rushing their albums so they could put it out on Bandcamp Friday so that they could get the revenue, and I get it, because like at this level you're not going to make that much, but you don't want it to like compromise your art, really. So,
I guess that's the first thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Making sure that whatever you put out actually sounds.
Yeah, that should be like the focus, but I do get it. I mean, Bandcamp's still great though. It's a great platform. I mean, like, in terms of actual usage, I don't think it's that great. Like when you use the app and stuff, it's kind of, it feels a lot more clunky than streaming stuff.
Definitely.
But
definitely.
in terms of like the actual idea and support and all that, it's obviously great. So it's been useful for me.
Yeah, cool. Interesting. Yeah. So, I guess kind of coming closer to the end now. Just Scotland. You were born in Glasgow, or like around Glasgow?
Around, outside of Glasgow, like on the west coast.
Yeah, so how was that like? How was growing up in your area, which I assume was more of like a village or a small town?
Yeah.
I'd assume. Just how was that like? And would you say maybe your experiences in that sort of environment played a role into maybe how you interact with new people, or how your music perhaps sounds?
I mean, it wasn't that like diverse growing up, and Scotland isn't that diverse. So in terms of like music, most of the stuff that I was exposed to was like more like rock stuff. It wasn't really hip hop stuff, other than like Eminem, because Eminem was huge. It was like, it wasn't really hip hop stuff until I hit high school, and I started getting introduced by other people into all sorts of different sounds.
Right.
Like mainly like my friend Gus, who I did a EP with December 2020. I've been friends with him since high school, and he was the one that kind of showed me a lot of stuff, because all I'd really heard was like mainstream rap,
right?
And then I met him in high school, and he's shown me like Old Dirty Bastard and all that, and my mind was just like blown. I was like, what is this? So that kind of changed it for me. But like in terms of like the climate, I guess there wasn't really that much. I kind of had to dig for it myself. So I definitely feel more influenced by the States. Like I don't really, like personally, I don't think my music really identifies with Scotland at all.
Would you want to move? If you become a bit more established as an artist, would you I mean, yeah, living in a small village or town probably isn't ideal for an artist who's trying to make any connections. But would you, if you were to move, would you kind of stay in like the UK area, or would you be looking to move further?
I think I'd be open to moving. I do want to go to the States, even just for like a few weeks to meet people, because I know a lot of people. And I think that would be really cool to actually meet up with people. But there's always part of my brain that's like, what if I just don't come back? So
yeah, Mum, I'm staying. No.
Like I don't know. I would like to try it.
Yeah.
I would be open to it, and I feel like the older I get, the more I'm like, kind of, it's like an itch that I need to scratch. And I do kind of want to do it, not like permanently, but I would like to try going over there, even for like a few weeks, or even just like going down south. I even know more people in England that do this. There's more of a like culture there, I guess. Because there is like a culture of Scottish rap. There is like there have been styles in the past, and there are still styles now, but it's kind of more borrowed from England. But it's just never something I've really identified with. I've never really, not that I haven't enjoyed it, it's just not my kind of thing really. So the stuff that I make is definitely more inspired by the States. So that's why I feel like it doesn't really connect that much.
Yeah, actually, in terms of your audience, then, would you say it's a lot of American audience, or is this?
Yeah, my audience is like predominantly the States and England.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So not really Scottish.
No, there's like very few people in Scotland that actually listen. Yeah. Which is fair, because it's not like, in a sense, it's not really made for them.
Yeah.
Because it's not the sound. I think it's just the sound that I'm in is not really a thing here.
Yeah.
It's only really Gus and husband, who's a producer in Edinburgh. Actually, he makes cool stuff, but other than that, it's not really. It's more like, from a long while it was like grime, and now it's drill, because that's the prevailing sound. So that's just what it is. So the sound that I'm doing is not really here,
right?
But that's fine. You know, it's got its own little pocket somewhere else. I'm happy with that.
For sure. No. Yeah, man. I guess my last question to you is, what can we expect? What's coming? You said an album, which I'm looking forward to a lot. But is there anything else you can perhaps just throw in there?
I don't even know if I can. I'm working on a project, and it's like taking a while because I'm just really picky and like kind of a perfectionist with it. So like things keep getting removed and added and changed, but that's like progressing. I think I've got like all the beats for it. So now it's just like trying to organize features and that kind of thing. That's probably like early 2022. Maybe around my birthday in February. I don't know. That's probably too soon though.
When's your birthday?
February 25th.
Okay, cool.
But that's probably too soon now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got that. And
would you do a physical for it?
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing physicals for other projects as well. I've been looking into it. I looked into doing a vinyl, I think, for Peace Be With You, but I'm still looking into it now, but it's just like trying to figure out the logistics of it, because it's kind of expensive to do, and then I don't know how many copies I would need, how many copies would sell, so I'm looking into it because I've had people ask about it, but I don't know, we'll see. I might just wait until the next project and do that, but that's the longer project though. It's probably going to be, it'll be my longest project. Right. So lots of tunes on that.
Good. More Swordbearer, that's what we need. That's what we need. Cool, then. Any shout-outs? Who should we be paying attention to? Could be musicians, or DJs, photographers, whatever. Obviously, like, I feel like with Progress, we overlap in some cases with like the people that we support. So talk about DJ Noon, Messiah, Kip, Will, etc.
Yeah.
But like anyone else, you just want to throw out?
There's a lot of people.
There is a lot.
I mean, J Cinema, amazing. It was the first person I ever sent beats to. It was J Cinema.
Sick.
There you go.
Nice.
Fun fact. They were
Fun
probably
fact.
all terrible. He used one of them.
So it couldn't have been that bad.
So, you know.
At least one of them was good.
But June as well.
Yeah.
Always great. Tristan the End, amazing producer. Mary Sue, Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, so many like talented people that are just going crazy. All the people at All Love 1999, King Ayo, especially went crazy. I don't know if you heard. He had a project Armor King. It was like a beat tape. He had a couple of features on it. Insane. I've never heard anything like that.
Right.
So everyone go listen to Armor King. Plug. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many people. So I don't want to miss anyone out. There's a lot of people I have missed out. But
you know who you are, and you should be.
They know who they are.
You should be appreciative of your creative skills.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. Do you have any final questions for me? Don't have to.
I do, because I'm curious. How do you find so much music? I found people through you.
I swear.
Like Nims and all that.
Oh yeah.
And now we've made like 2 tracks together now.
Yeah, that was sick.
Because yeah, every time you drop like a playlist or something, it's like R&B from like England, but then it's like a dance song from Brazil, and I'm like, how the fuck is he finding all this?
To be honest, mate, I don't know. So on SoundCloud, the process is more kind of just religiously going through what everyone's posted and reposted, and seeing like who's doing what and where. And sometimes from the SoundCloud, I'll discover someone who's on Spotify, and then Spotify, I'll go through the algorithm and find someone, and then I'll go back on SoundCloud, listen to their stuff.
Yeah.
And it all just kind of loops together. With Spotify, I try and avoid kind of, the mixes that they do or like the playlists that they make, just because, I don't know, for me, to get onto this playlist, you typically need like someone else to do the work for you,
Right.
which is not a problem, but I feel like it kind of loses that special moment when you find someone who's like really good.
Yeah.
And I want to keep that. So yeah, and also Instagram. I have to say that if you share someone's music, and Progress sees it, best believe I've listened to it.
Instagram's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I should have mentioned that about like meeting artists, because that's a big one. Just like by proxy of like who follows who.
Yeah.
You like find all these
So
different
good.
people. It's really cool. Yeah.
Despite its downsides, it's if you know how to use it, it's really useful.
It's
really
probably
useful.
the best
Yeah.
of the social medias, which
I've found
maybe isn't
so many
much.
like holes that I've dug through Instagram. Just
Yeah.
finding one person, and it kind of spirals into somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. Got another shout out, Lord Glacier.
Yes.
Lord Glacier.
Yes.
Great,
Yeah.
just a great guy. I was gonna say great artist, just a great guy.
Great chap.
Just a great guy. Like, he knows. He knew. But yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
So I had to add that in there.
Cool. Well, on that note, shouts to Lord Glacier, and yeah, man, we're done. Thank you everyone for listening, for watching. If you kept the tab open, that's also appreciated. And yeah, see you whenever I decide to do another one.
Nice.